So we want to wish everyone Shabbat Shalom, and thanks for being here on this gorgeous, gorgeous Tu B'Av Shabbat. And thanks, Joe, for schlepping out prayer books. Thanks. This is the Cantor's vision. So the fact that so many of us are wearing at least some white and got the text. And for those of you who didn't get the memo, no problem. We're glad you're here. And for those of you who have white pants, I'm jealous. I don't own a pair of white pants. But it's wonderful, wonderful to see you. And after a lot of heat, although Deborah and I were in Canada for the last couple of weeks, but given the heat that's been here, we're very happy to be able to be outside in a comfortable, beautiful Friday night outdoors at Beth Sholom congregation. And Chazan Agar is going to introduce to you this vision of a Tu B'Av Shabbat service celebrating this day that's devoted to love on the Jewish calendar. So Chazan, I'm turning it over to you.
Yes, so this service, I was thinking how to make a Tu B'Av service, and I decided that I took a bunch of Hebrew Jewish love songs and set them to the text of the liturgy. So what you'll be hearing is a lot of familiar classic Jewish love songs to familiar Jewish liturgical texts. But we'll go through it together. The first one, though, will be very unfamiliar, at least the music, because I wrote it about 2 hours ago. At about 3:20 today, I was planning to do Yedid Nefesh by Yehudit Zweig, but at around 3:20 p.m. today, as I was coming to the synagogue, I just got an idea for a new one. So you'll hear it today.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah. So let's just quickly learn it. So I'll sing and you repeat. Yedid nefesh, Yedid nefesh. Next part. Avarachaman, Avarachaman. Next part. Mishoch avdach, Mishoch avdach, El retzonach, El retzonach. Great, that's the beginning. And then the second part goes like this. Yarut avdach, Yarut avdach, Kemo ayal, Kemo ayal. Then, Yishtachavel mul hadarach. Let's try that. Yishtachavel mul hadarach. Great. So now we can sing it all together. Yedid nefesh avarachaman, Mishoch avdach, retzonach, Yarutz avdach, Kemo Yishtachave el mul hadarach, Yishtachave el mul hadarach, Ki erav lo yediduta Menofet tzuf bechol וכל הטעם וכל הטעם ידיד הנפש הרחמן משוק עבדך ארץ עונך וכל הטעם וכל הטעם
Before we continue, I just want to say that we'll say a little bit more about Tu B'Av and its devotion to love, but all of Kabbalat Shabbat is essentially a series of love songs between the Jewish people and God. And this service was actually created by the Kabbalists of Shabbat to express their love of the Shekhinah, of the Holy One of Blessing. So as we celebrate these love songs, which often have as their theme romantic love, part of what the theme of this entire service is the love of the Jewish people and God for one another. So we celebrate love in its many forms: romantic, divine, the love between friends, children, and parents, and all forms of love on this Tu B'Av. We're going to continue now on page 16. Join with us in L'chu Naranana to the melody of Erev Shel Shoshanim, page 16.
Oh, actually, sorry, page 15.
Page 15.
My mistake.
Page 15. We're going to do L'chu Naranana, page 15, to Erev Shel Shoshanim.
So this will be, as Rabbi just said, L'chu Naranana to the famous Israeli love song, Erev Shel Shoshanim, Evening of Roses. So let's just learn how to sing it. L'chu Naranana L'Adonai Naria letzur yishenu Naria letzur yishenu Letzur yishenu Letzur yishenu. Great, next part goes Nekadema
Nekadema
Fanav betoda
Fanav betoda
Bizmirot nariyalo
Bizmirot nariyalo
Nariyalo
Nariyalo.
Awesome, now let's sing it together. L'chu Naranana L'Adonai Naria letzur yishenu Letzur yishenu Nekadema Panav betoda Bizmirot nariyalo Nariyalo Nekadema Panav betoda Bizmirot nariyalo
We invite you to turn ahead with us to page 17, 2 lines from the bottom of the page, Psalm 97, or Zarua. We bring light into the world when we act with righteousness. Page 17.
This one will be set to the famous Dodi Li melody by Stephen Scher, the one that we often hear at weddings. Dodi Li. And this will be with the words of Or Zarua. So please join us.
Tzaddik, la tzaddik, ולيשרי לב שמחה, שמחו צדיקים באדוני, באדוני, סעודו לזכר Zarua la tzaddik, la tzaddik, ולيשרי לב שמחה, שמחו צדיקים באדוני, באדוני, והודו לזכר קודשו. אור זרוע לצדיק, לצדיק, ולישרי לב שמחה.
We're going to turn ahead now to page 19 of our prayer book. So we join together 3 lines from the bottom of Psalm 99 with the words Romemu.
This melody will be another Dodi Li melody, and this one is the Israeli version by Nina Chen. And this will be to the words of Romemu. So let's just learn how to sing it. It actually works quite perfectly with this text. So I'll sing and you repeat. Romemu,
Romemu,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu, V'hishtachavu,
Vehishtachavu,
Lehar Kodsho,
Lehar Kodsho,
V'hishtachavu,
Vehishtachavu,
Lehar Kodsho,
Lehar Kodsho,
Ki Kadosh,
Ki Kadosh,
Adonai,
Adonai,
Eloheinu,
Eloheinu,
ki kadosh
ki kadosh
Adonai,
Adonai,
Eloheinu.
Eloheinu.
And that's it. That's the whole thing.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, אלוהינו, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, אלוהינו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, אלוהינו, והשתחוו להר קודשו, והשתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, אלוהינו, והשתחוו להר קודשו, והשתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, להנהו רותחוו להר קודשו, להר קודשו, להר קודשו.
So I want to just invite people to take a look at the sky. So sometimes we're just here and we kind of look this way, but tonight there's going to be a full moon. If you look at the sky again tonight, it is Tu B'Av. It's the 15th of the month of Av, and for those of you who are familiar with the Hebrew calendar, the full moon is always in the middle of the month. But I don't know if any of you are astronomers, but there are supposed to be the asteroid, the showers of, what are the showers of, yes, the meteor showers, not the asteroids. The meteor showers are tonight and tomorrow are the maximal. So if you get to a place where there's not a lot of ambient light around you, you might look up into the sky and see those meteors flying around. But we are at Beth Sholom. This is our corner of the sky right here. And so many of you might be out here again with a sukkah here, where you'll have a little bit of a different view. But this is, right in the middle of the month of Av, height of the summer. We are here looking at God's creation and thanking God for the gift of Shabbat as we celebrate love in all its forms. We're going to continue on page 21 of our Siddur with the ultimate of love songs as we say to God, "Come, my beloved," as we would greet a bride on this Shabbat. So we'll be doing, I believe, the first, second, and last verses on page 21.
First, second, fifth, and last.
Fifth is the
Fifth
and last, yes.
Yeah.
First, second, and fifth on page 21, and then we'll rise for the final verse on page 22.
And this is a melody that's not from a love song, but it sounds very nice, so I thought it would be fitting. So let's just learn how to sing it. You may have heard it before, or you may not have heard it before. La 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 lecha dodi.
La 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 lecha dodi.
La 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 likrat kala.
La 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 likrat kala.
La 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 p'nei Shabbat.
La 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 p'nei Shabbat.
P'nei Shabbat nekabela. P'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Great. Now let's learn the verse part. And this might sound familiar because it sounds like Phantom of the Opera.
Shamor v'zachor. Shamor v'zachor. B'dibur echad.
Dibor echad.
Ishmiyanu. Ishmiyanu. El hamyuchad.
El hamyuchad.
And that's it. That's the whole thing. So let's sing it together.
La 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 lekadodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. La 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 lekadodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor. B'dibur echad. Ishmiyanu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad. Ushmo echad. L'shemo tiferet v'letchila. La 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 likadodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. La 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 lekadodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat. Lechu v'nelcha. Ki mekor haberacha. Ve'osh mikedem nesucha. Sof masa Shabbat tehila. La 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 lekadodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. La 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 likadodi. Likrat kala. La 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 p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri. Hitoreri. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמונה עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לה 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 לקדודי, לה 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 לקראת כלה, לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. לה 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 לקדודי, לה 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 לקראת כלה, לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה.
Invite you to be seated. Chazan, I have a question. How many songs is this the first time that's been done tonight?
So far, all of them.
And how much rehearsal time did you have with this group of people?
About an hour, right, or so? Why, does it sound like that?
No!
Oh,
It's
okay,
like-
okay.
Wow, I'm just, I didn't think that you'd been spending hours and hours on this. Beautiful. Thank you for our very, very talented musicians working
Yes.
with our chazan in an hour to put this together. We're going to continue on page 23. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Let us sing this song for this day of Shabbat and peace, page 23.
Just a question, is this too loud right now? No? I see people nodding and saying no at the same time. No?
Oh, I'm on the chord.
Okay. Okay. So this will be a melody that we all know and recognize, so we can all sing it together.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, במותך בלילות. צדיק כתמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון ישגה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינובון בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא עוולתה.
want to invite any of you who are in the process of mourning or observing a yard site, those of you both here and on the Zoom, to rise if you are able and to join with me in the first Mourner's Kaddish to conclude Kabbalat Shabbat, page 24 of your prayer book. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah v'yalma divrach Yeruteh v'yamlich malchuteh b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'agala uvizman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach li'olam omei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shemei dekudasha berichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru.
Amen.
We ask God, who brings peace and comfort on high, to bring peace and comfort to those of you who are remembering those who loved you and who you have loved. We say Amen. So I would love to, I don't know how long my cord is, but I'd love to pass around my mic and ask people to just say their names, because we're celebrating love, and we would love people to feel like they are among friends, and we want to make sure everyone knows each other's name.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, I'm Tess.
I'm Coral.
Jacob.
And I'm Kenny.
We'll see how far this goes.
And I'm Randy.
Ruth.
Ray.
Marlene.
Al.
Patty.
Louise.
Myron.
Shelley. Panina.
St. Paul.
Did you hear that? That was St. Paul. Okay. Yeah. Panina, you'll have to see if that's... Am I done? Yeah. All right.
So half of
Rachel.
you are friends.
Mine.
Joe.
Valerie.
Jerry.
Hi, I'm David.
Devora.
Aaron.
Roger.
Melanie.
Debbie.
John.
Jerry!
Elaine.
How did I know that was coming? Jerry. So Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I want to share a story for Tu B'Av, this 15th day of the month of Av, from a rabbinic colleague of mine, Rabbi Toba Spitzer. And this is the story she tells. It's brief, I promise. My grandmother spent her childhood in the outskirts of the prison and labor camps in Siberia, where her family members were sent by Stalin in the late 30s. She buried 2 generations of women in our family in Siberia, including her mother and grandmother. Her life was filled with trauma and difficulty. Several years after the end of the Second World War, she and my grandfather fell in love and decided to get married. One of her neighbors came out and demanded to know how there could be a wedding at a time of food scarcity and in the aftermath of the atrocities of the war. She demanded to know how my grandmother could even consider bringing new life into the world that was filled with so much suffering and uncertainty. My grandmother recounts that she paused, touched by the questions, and she went ahead with the wedding. But as she recounted it, over 65 years later, she still remembered her neighbors demanding questions as if they were posed only yesterday. My grandmother, whose nickname is Sunshine, because her Russian name Svetlana and Hebrew name Ora both mean light, shared this scene with me a few years ago when I asked her how I could be raising children in a world filled with violence, hate, and uncertainty about our future. She reminded me that because she chose love over despair, my mother was born, and my aunt was born, and eventually I was born. She was not saying that the journey was easy, but she was saying that the suffering was worth the effort. And she had decided long ago that suffering would not be the end of her story. She had decided that the end of her story would be love. After every great hardship, we believe as Jews that life can renew itself. And so last week, as we commemorated the hardship and despair of Tisha B'Av, we come together this evening under the light of what will be a full moon to celebrate this day of Tu B'Av, the holiday of love. This is the day that our tradition says we begin the process of being reborn from the ruins of Tisha B'Av. If you go out tonight and you see that brilliant light of a full moon, perhaps we can be reminded that despite the pain that we will always have in this world and the uncertainty, that in that full moon we might see the beauty and goodness in the people that we love and whose love sustains each one of us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to continue now with the Mariv service. And we invite those who are able to rise to stand to do so. And east is facing the parking lot. So we'll invite you, if you wish, to face east as we continue now, page 28, with the Baruch Hu.
Baruch hu et Adonai Amborach.
Baruch Adonai Mavarach le'olam vahed.
Baruch Adonai Amborach le'olam vahed.
I invite you to be seated as we continue privately Ma'ariv Aravim.
ומעביר יום ולילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני,
Baruch Shema.
המעריב ערבים.
Amen. Continuing Ahavat Olam, page 29.
This melody will be a very old Sephardi Ladino melody. It's melody from Los Bilbilicos, which is a Ladino love song. Los Bilbilicos means in Ladino the nightingales. And actually the word bilbil isn't even Spanish. It comes from Turkish. So it's, that Ladino is a mixture of all these languages. And so we have set this beautiful Sephardi love song to the text of Ahavat Olam. So please join us.
אהבת עולם את ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקך כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו ובהם נגם יום בלילה יאהבתך אל תסיר ממנו ליעולמים ליעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל.
We continue page 30 with Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך והיה אם שמוע תשמעו מצוותי אשר נקים מצוותי. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem
Continuing page 32. Emet v'nakol zot v'kayam aleinu.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה בני ישראל חנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אליך מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה לי אנו בימינו אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד ונמגדל חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Continue page 33 as we daven Hashkivenu privately, either Hebrew or English.
השכיבנו עלינו לשלמנו
Takinu b'tzat halav v'necha, smartetenu v'necha, ki el shomenu matzenu,
ושמור צאתנו ואוינו לחיים ושלום אתה ויד עולם ופרוס אנשך שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש כל שם עלינו וקומו ישראל ויד ירושלים.
We join together in Vishamru, page 34.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפל ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
We invite those who are able to rise as we continue now with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 34, and we invite you into some silence in your own prayer as the Amidah continues after that, page 35 through 38.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ביעלמה דברה קירותי ומלך מלכותי בחייך וביום אחד ובחיי כל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. ישמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולם המיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן הכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ביעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
Those of you who are still davening, continue to do so. Those of you who have concluded should feel free to be seated. We're going to continue now with the Nava Tehillah, Oseh Shalom, as a conclusion to the Amidah.
Shalom bimroma, uyas shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru Amen. La 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 Shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru Amen. La 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 la. Oseh shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru Amen. V'imru
We're going to continue now on page 49 of your Siddur as the Chazan leads us in Kiddush. If you're able to rise, we'll invite you to stand. If it's difficult to stand, please feel free to be seated. Page 48. My apologies.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodesho b'ahava uvrtzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'yahava u'v'ratzon, hinchalatanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh Hashat. Amen.
L'chaim. We'll invite you to remain standing as we turn now to page 51 and continue with Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו
קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים,
הקדוש ברוך הוא. כתוב בתורת היום אין עוד על כן כל אחד ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We invite those who are in the process of mourning or observing a yahrzeit to remain standing. Those of you who are saying Kaddish, we'll invite you to say aloud, if you wish, the name of the person or people for whom you are saying Kaddish. Roger, do you want to? My brother David. Okay. David Davis, Mark Safer. And we invite anyone on the Zoom to add names of anyone you are remembering, and we invite those of you who are remembering loved ones to now join with me in Mourner's Kaddish, page 52. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
B'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam omei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmei dekudesha b'richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata damiran b'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Ask God to send peace and comfort to those of you remembering your loved ones. So we'll keep announcements relatively brief. We want to thank everyone for being here. We want to thank Chazan Agar for creating a Tu B'Av Shabbat, Kabbalat Shabbat, and Shabbat experience, and beautiful, beautiful music. Composing music at 3:20 and then playing it at 6:15 with a group of people who have had about 45 minutes to do an entire service. So we thank Lisa and Tess and Carl and Chazan and Kenny. I want to thank a special thanks to Tess for the fact that I can't stop moving and was constantly stepping on her electric cord and making it hard for her to actually move her bass as she was playing. So it's very hard for me to stand still, as I know you know. But thank you for being able to do that on this evening. And I will tell you this, Deborah and I were away actually earlier in the summer and heard a band. Actually, no, it was an open mic night at this little bar. But all of these musicians were incredibly wonderful. I don't know how this was on St. John. I don't know how they found all these talented people, and there were kids who sang. It was amazing. And this one guy did just sang this melody. It was basically he was Rastafarian, but basically the words that he kept singing was "God is love, God is love," and so we Jews don't have an easy time with that concept, given we've had a tough history at certain times in our history. But all of Kabbalat Shabbat is really about the loving God who is here that we reach out to in our lives. And so on this Tu B'Av, this day of celebrating love, we hope to feel like the love of a community that comes together and gets to celebrate Shabbat with beautiful music. We hope that we feel loved by the people in our lives, and we celebrate the gift of God's love to us on this Shabbat and on every Shabbat. Lots of things happening in Beth Sholom in the coming week. We invite you to read your bi-weekly emails to catch you up. Tomorrow morning, we invite you to come back to hear Rabbi Dr. Steve Brown, who will be giving the Devar Torah at services tomorrow. We've had a wonderful, wonderful array of Beth Sholom members who've been giving Divrei Torah over the entire summer. And Dr. Brown is the former dean of the School of Education at the Jewish Theological Seminary, former Jewish Theological Seminary. Oh, and Gratz College. Well, yes, he was the headmaster at Schechter. He was the head of school at Jack and Barak Hebrew Academy. So a real treat to hear some Torah from Dr. Steve Brown tomorrow. And we thank all of our members who have been teaching Torah and helping to lead services over the summer, which is one of the great joys of our summer services here at Beth Sholom, in addition to our wonderful musical Friday night services. I'm going to be teaching Tuesday night and invite people to join me at 8 o'clock. I'm going to be helping us to do some spiritual preparation for the Days of Awe. We're going to be learning, reading, and discussing one of the most wonderful books I know of Jewish spiritual life. It's called This Is Real and You Are Completely Unprepared by Rabbi Alan Liu. And it's his 7-week journey from Tisha B'Av to Rosh Hashanah and what the spiritual opportunities are for each and every one of us along the way. It's a brilliant book, great title, I have to say. So that'll be Tuesday at 8. I think, Chazan, we're taking a week off from choir this week.
Yes, that's right. No choir this week.
So we'll be back the following week. And we invite you to turn with us to page 54 as we conclude with Adon Olam.
And before you, just two things. Next week, we're having craft beer and blues Shabbat again. And again, craft beer provided by Myron and Louisa's son brewery. And also, today, we have a small surprise for you. As you're leaving, please take some flowers in honor of Tu B'Av. So, as you're leaving, you can take them from there. So we'll conclude with a very well-known Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra Yeit Nasa B'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא עובד והוא יהיה לתפארה Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra ויתנסה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא יחרי ככלות הכל לבדו לדוק תורה והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה ויתפרע אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל כל יציר נברא, יתנסה וחפצו כל אדם מלך שמו נקרא, אחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה. בידו הפקיד רוחי ואת אישה ויעירה עם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא יירא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לי התנסה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לי התנסה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Asher Koach. Yes, thanks. If everyone could just take their books. Thank you, Joe.
And
Into
take
the
their
board.
flowers.
And take your flowers. Asher Koach.
Baruch
Well
B'Yah.
done.
Thank you.
Kenny.
Safe.
You have never come across.
Shabbat Shalom. Oh, thank you.
I hit 70 years old now, officially in America.
I was Rabbi Carmen.
I'll look him up on Facebook and
He's another Kenny who plays woodwind. So that's,
Joseph J.O.